Good afternoon, good afternoon. I am Sandgrain1 and this is episode 20 of the Sandpack series. The plan for this episode is to continue on this peat farm here. And the primary goal for this episode is to fix up below here with some more permanent bog earth production. A pump here for water and stuff like that. First things first, this is the current recipe that we use. It gives 4 bog earth using 4 dirt, 4 sand and some water. The new recipe is using a carpenter for the crafting. Same amount of dirt and sand. Some water as well. I think it might be 1 bucket of water. So the same as the previous recipe, but it adds a requirement for mulch here. The bonus is that it gives 8 bog earth. So yeah. Now these two machines here require energy. So I need to fuel them, power them with some kind of engine. And I've tested a little bit in creative, and it turns out that the carpenter can run at 1 Minecraft joule per tick just fine, and it will produce a large amount of bog earth on that. So much that it's actually a lot faster than what the farm can use it, so it will be idle a lot. And it's going to be the same with the pump. The pump will not pump water all the time, because this farm and the carpenter will not be using that much water. So adding 1 engine for both of these might actually be overkill. So, or at least it will be more energy than they're going to need. One drawback of the Peat engine, I think I have one here, is that it's using peat. Well, that's a good thing as well, I guess. But peat is solid fuel. So let's say that this carpenter starts up and it should work for like 20 seconds or so, and it will produce perhaps a stack of bog earth in those 20 seconds. But the peat will continue to burn. So even if the engine stops, because the carpenter tells it to, there is a gate condition, so the carpenter will tell us if it has work or not, and that will turn this engine on and off. But the problem is that the peat will continue to burn. So the excess energy, I want the peat engine to run all the time, and I want the excess energy to be sent into the farm here. But I believe that 3 engines is going to be a little bit too much for this size farm. So the plan is now also to increase the size of the farm. So I'm probably going to start with that and do most of that off camera. I have a soldering iron here just to remove this, like so. Now I can reuse this later. It's almost gone. So yeah, I'm going to disassemble this here, increase the size of the farm, and we'll continue from there. Here you can see the difference between the old farm and the new farm. So the difference is fairly small. I think it's about 26 blocks, 26 or 24 blocks. So difference is very little, and that also makes me certain that 3 Minecraft joules per tick will be plenty to harvest all of it, because 2 engines were able to harvest 156 or so. I never talked about the placement of water, but water can moisturize. I think this one is wrong. Yeah. Let's see. And this, both are wrong. For symmetry's sake. Like so. Not dirt. So, yeah, water can sort of reach 2 blocks. So this water block will keep this and this moist, but not this one. Okay, so it was correct. Yeah. Oh, wait a minute. I have one here as well, don't I? So 1, 2, and 1, 2. So this is covered by this one, and this is covered by that. I think this should be okay. So it's 8 blocks, 8 out of 180 that is now water blocks instead. But that's sort of, I don't think it's possible to do it more efficient than that. Perhaps it is. I don't know. I didn't use that much time on it. So I didn't complete it down below here either. Let's see here. We're going to need some more farm blocks, and these 3 special blocks here. Going to need the gearbox, which was input for energy, and then a farm valve, which is input for water, and last but not least the hatch, which is the input and output for items that are being made. So now we can finish this up. Wait a second or two, and there it is formed. So we now have a new large farm. I will now need to experiment a little bit with piping. Maybe I move these. Oh, I already moved it. Maybe I move these a little bit just to see how the piping works out. So yeah, let me experiment a little bit. I haven't really planned out the piping yet. After some planning in creative, this is what I ended up with. At least the beginning. So I moved these 2 blocks here. The gearbox was here, so I moved it back there. And the valve was here. I moved it over there. And that is to have room for the piping, basically. The 3 engines here that will power the system. So this is the beginning. So the carpenter will be placed like so. The water supply will come up from under. And I think I'm going to bring it back up here to a pump that will place. Actually, I can place the pump right next to it. Do I have the pump here? Yeah. Like so. Unless I want to give more room for a larger pool here. Yeah, I think I'm going to move it one back just to have a little bit more room for a 3x3 or something. And it's going to take power from that. So now the pump has power, the carpenter has power, and the carpenter has water as well as the farm. And the farm has also power, of course. Now I need to I can set the recipe here. Actually, let's just begin with the piping. I'm going to extract the items out here. I don't want it to connect straight away. Instead, I'm going to bring it down here. Oh, I need to sneeze. Sneezing completed. And I'm going to link it up down here instead. So Bog Earth will be drawn out here and sent up, while the peat and dirt comes from there and down. So that should be it. Now to the tricky part. Keeping the carpenter filled with the right amount of resources. And that was actually easier said than done because of the recipe. Take one for now. I'm missing one item here. Yeah, I need one more item. I'm gonna fill this with some water just to get the recipe. I'm going to get a hopper. The hopper is going to help me with overflow protection. Yeah, so the recipe is a little bit special. It needs 4 dirt, 4 sand, but only 1 mulch. And the truth is, there aren't really any easy way with BuildCraft to sort that out. Actually, I need more. Now I have iron pipes. Okay, so it's actually pretty difficult to maintain an inventory of the right amount of items. So every time this carpenter now crafts 8 Bog Earth, it uses 4 dirt, but only 1 mulch. So eventually it will look like this, and this is empty. Now it's a race condition. And when it is refilled again, it is important that I refill it with 4 dirt and 1 mulch. And so I can't refill this carpenter with mulch at the same speed as when I refill it with dirt. So I need to separate the logic, and can be a little bit tricky at times to do that with BuildCraft piping. But after some experimenting and creative, I think I found a way that is going to work. And we're going to, so what we're going to do here, we are going to refill the carpenter all the time. We're going to make sure that none of these slots is ever emptied. And in order to do that, we're going to need gold gates. Let's see, you can use a gold there. And I need wooden transportation pipes. So items will travel from chests here. I hope I have chests. I don't have enough, obviously. So it's going to be 1 chest for dirt, 1 for sand, and 1 for mulch. Might have one here, actually. Yeah, good. And 1 for mulch. So let's... Yeah, the top one here is actually in need of gold and a gold gate. So I need a gold gate there, because that one is going to... I need a blue signal, blue pipe signal in addition to a red one, which is why I need a gold gate. And I'm placing it next to the carpenter because on the side of the carpenter, not above or below, because now I can measure the inventory here. And I'm going to, actually that was the wrong type of gate. I need a normal one there and an autarkic gate up there. And here I can have normal iron autarkic gates. The same there. And the wiring. Going to have a blue pipe wire up there. And a red one to the two others. So to the rules here. If there is space in inventory for sand, then send a red pipe signal. So now it is off, you can see, but the moment I make room for some, it turns on. So this is very exact, sort of. 63, and it's still on. Now the problem with BuildCraft piping is that there will always be some items traveling. So that is the items in transit. So if I have sand here, red pipe signal, I then send pulse. Now it's going to send a lot of sand. It's going to travel down again. That's of course wrong. Up, it should up, and it should go to the side into the hopper. So now it filled up the sand, and all the other sand will now gather up here. So that is my overflow protection. This system here will make sure that there's always 64 sand here, and it will come from the hopper. And we're going to do something similar with mulch. It was there. Space for mulch, and send a blue signal. And if there's a blue signal here and the pipe is empty, I'm going to use that to slow the signal down a bit. So now it will pump in mulch only if there is room for mulch. And it's going to do so one item at a time and not a stream of items like it did for sand. So that is sand. It is dirt. Actually, I'm going to fill it up to make it a little bit easier for me. This is a trick I'd use. You can see that there is both sand and dirt here, but there's room for only sand, so I can do it like this. So fill with sand. No sand anymore. Do the same with the dirt. I'm looking forward to the inventory tweaks in 1.5. And the mulch, I can put some mulch in here. This mulch is created in a moistener with the help of from wheat. So this was wheat ones. So that is something I will need to set up eventually. But right now, I'm going to feed in these materials manually, at least for a little while. Yeah, so we have now done two things actually. First of all, we have increased the inventory of the carpenter. It's now not only these slots, but it has 3 chests in addition. And we can make all these chests into double chests for a lot of resources. So we increased the size of the inventory. And another thing we did was that we separated the resources in different inventories. So instead of having everything in one inventory, we have separated the resources. So we have separate inventories for mulch, dirt, and sand. We also need to refill. One of the points here is that we need to refill the machine here with resources, and I think I'm going to use a gold gate for now. And if there is room for soil, so if the level of soil, if there is less than 64, I think we're going to use less than 64 Bog Earth blocks inside the farm, then send a red signal, and that red signal should pump out resources. I think that's it. Now we just need to power this. Let's give these Peat engines some fuel. Let's just refill here with some... I have water here, so let's just refill the carpenter with some water. And now it has started crafting, I think. Or did it? Ah, yeah, missing resources. So let's see here, fertilizer and the coder here, coding. Now it should have what it needs. Oh, what am I doing here? Ah, I need to do some sorting here. It should go up. Nothing should ever go in. And peat should always go into the engines. Let's see the yellow one. Yellow, yellow, and yellow there. And I need a chest here to catch the overflow. And this is going to be temporary a little bit while we see this in action. I'm mostly curious about the system here. So now I got one mulch, some sand and dirt, and this is refilled. This looks a lot slower than it's supposed to be, and I think the reason is that right now the farm here has a lot of catching up to do. You can see it's farming here. So I'm going to let this run for some time now. Let it clear out some of this peat here and see how this turns out. How much of the energy being produced here that will go to the carpenter. But right now the carpenter is too slow. There's a small patch here left. I hope it will be able to harvest everything, but these pops up from time to time randomly. There will be new mature peat, so it's going to be interesting to see if we can sort of take the entire area on only 3 Minecraft joules per tick. Looks good so far, but yeah, we'll see. Everything is harvested except for that one. So now I hope that this carpenter will receive more of the energy. I'm not sure though. I might have miscalculated, sort of. Yeah, it still looks like it's still slow, which means that there will always be a very few Bog Earth here. I changed the rule here to less than 28. And I also added a rule for fertilizer. Now, I don't have anything hooked up to the blue line yet, but that is the plan for a future episode, to create some sort of fertilizer machine. Other things I did, yeah, I added fertilizer rules so that when ash comes out of the engine, they don't travel up here. Instead, they travel to this chest. And I have now a global lever for all these 3 engines instead of 3 levers behind here. But it should now hopefully get some energy there, at least 1 bucket. This is also going to be slow. I might need to add more energy. I am considering replacing these 3 engines with another engine, biogas engine. But in order to do that, I need a more or better supply of biomass. Now this is actually full. Finally, okay, so the carpenter is now full. It can't make any more. So, and yeah, okay, so it looks like this is going to be stable actually, which is good, very good. I'm happy. A nice ending to that episode, I think. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.